Namaste children. Hi. Let us discuss fifth lesson in ninth class social studies is Biosphere. Children should ask a question now. Which planet is called unique planet? Which planet is called unique planet? Yes, the answer is right. The Earth is a unique planet. The Earth is a unique planet. Why the Earth is called unique planet? Why the Earth is called unique planet? Because the Earth has life. The Earth has life inhabited by countless forms of life, from microbacteria to great banyan tree and animals like elephants, tigers, blue whales, of course human being. Yes, the Earth has life inhabited by countless forms of life, from microbacteria to great banyan tree and animals like elephant, tigers, blue whales, of course human being. We call Earth is a unique planet. Earth is a unique planet. Why Earth has a life inhabited by countless forms of life? Why? Okay, why Earth has life inhabited by countless forms of life? Why? Because Earth has a combination of land, air and water and moderate temperature. Okay, why Earth gets moderate temperature? Earth is not close to the sun and Earth is not far away from the sun. Earth is located at moderate distance from the sun. Earth is located at moderate distance from the sun. So Earth gets moderate temperature and Earth has combination of land, air, water. Due to this reason, Earth has life inhabited by countless forms of life. When three spheres are intersected, three spheres means already we learned in second lesson, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. When these three spheres, lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, when the three spheres intersect, life exists. Already we studied in earlier classes. In earlier classes we studied life exists when the three spheres like lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere intersect each other. And life, all forms of life are integral connected with land, air, water, sunshine. All forms of life integrated with land, air, water and sunshine. So all forms of life draw the sustenance from land, air, water, sunshine and affect them in various ways. All forms of life get the essential requirement for the life and affect them in various ways. Many geographers, life itself constitutes a separate sphere called biosphere. Many geographers, life itself constitutes a separate sphere called biosphere. Various forms of life not only related with lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Various forms of life are related also with each other. Various forms of life not only related with lithosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere, they are related with each other. This is called part of the food chain. This is called part of a food chain. But what is meant by the part of a food chain? One kind of life becomes food for another kind of life. One kind of life becomes food for another. Many forms of life are also symbiotic. Many forms of life are also symbiotic. That means all forms of life live by exchanging essential things with each other. All forms of life live by exchanging essential substances with each other. So we call many forms of life are symbiotic. Symbiotic means all forms of life live by exchanging the substances with each other. Let me explain this in an example now. All we know, plant is the primary food producer. Okay, as all we know, plant is the primary food producer. Produce the food by plant itself with help of sunlight and other organic components like nutrients and nitrogen in the soil formed by bacteria and fungi help in decomposing the dead trees and animals. So with help of sunlight and organic compounds like nutrients and nitrogen in the soil, plants prepare food. The food prepared by plant eaten by herbivores. Herbivores eat plant as a food. Herbivores eat plant as a food. Herbivores means plant eating animal like deer, cattle, goats, elephants. These animals are called herbivore or plant eating animal. These animals depend upon plant directly. They eat plant as a food. Carnivores means flesh eating animal. Carnivores means like dog, cats, fishes, birds, tigers, etc. These animals eat herbivore as a food. This animal eat plant eating animal as a food. These carnivores animal like dog, cat, fishes, birds, tigers eat flesh of the herbivores like deer, cattle, goats, elephant as a food. After the death of plants, herbivore animal, carnivore animals, bacteria and fungi help in decomposing the dead trees and animals, which broke into organic compounds like nutrients and nitrogen in the soil. To prepare food, plant use nutrients and nitrogen from soil and prepare food. The food prepared by plant eaten by herbivore as a food. And carnivore eat herbivores as a food. After death of plants and herbivore animal, carnivore animals, bacteria and fungi help in decomposing the dead trees and animals and form organic components like nutrients and nitrogen soil. Plant produce food with the help of sunlight and nutrients, nitrogen soil formed by bacteria and fungi. So this cycle goes on. The cycle of life goes on like this. Any disturbance in the life cycle is called ecological crisis. Any disturbance in the life cycle is called ecological crisis. For example, if a particular species is disturbed, if a particular life is disturbed, if a particular life form is disturbed, the other particular kind of a life, the other particular kind of a life, the other particular species depends upon this particular species also will be disturbed. In due time, all forms of life will get disturbed. If one kind of life is affected, the other kind of life depend upon this kind of life also will be affected. In due time, all forms of life will be affected. If one kind of life is disappear, the other kind of life depends upon this particular kind of life also disappear. In due time, in later days, in later time, in due time, all forms of life will get disappeared. For an example, a particular species means a particular animal eat food from particular kind of plant. A particular animal eat food as particular kind of plant. If the particular animal extinct means disappear, if the particular animal extinct disappear, then the particular animal depend upon particular kind of plant for food. It grows unchecked. Okay, it grows unchecked means it grows extensively more and more so much and stops other plant from growing and stops other plant from growing. I can explain with other example also. Industries use chemicals and metals and allow the chemicals and metals flow in streams and rivers. Thus the level of mercury and chemicals, thus the level of metals like mercury and chemical increase in the river. Microorganisms consume the mercury in the river water that act as a food for fishes. When human being eats such kind of fishes, the human being health will get deteriorated, spoiled or damaged. I can give other example also. Vulture. Vulture eat food as a dead cattle. 20 years ago, you can see vulture eating dead cattle as a food in towns and villages. But today, vultures are slowly disappearing. Do you know why, children? From investigation, we came to know the farmers use diclofenac, a chemical for cattle, for getting more quantities of milk. When farmers use diclofenac, a chemical for cattle, to give large quantities of milk, what happens later means when the cattle die, diclofenac, a chemical, retain the flesh of the cattle. When vulture eat the flesh of the cattle that consists diclofenac chemical, vulture kidney become failed and vulture die within 1 week. As a result, today vultures are slowly disappearing now. Since all living things and non-living things, one way or other, connected with each other, changes affected in one, in due time affects all others too. Changes affecting in one, in due time affects all others too. That means, if changes occurs in one particular species of animal, then the changes will take place on changes affecting in one, in due time affects all others too. That means, if a particular species is disturbed or particular species disappear, if particular species is affected, the other species depends upon this particular species also get disappear, also get affected and also get disturbed. In due time, all forms of life also get disturbed, affected and disappeared. Children, so far we discussed about the introduction part of the biosphere. I hope you understand this topic. Before seeing this video, keep the textbook in front of you. Read the topic from the textbook. Then you see the video. You will understand very much better. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the Zoom class, children. Okay, thank you for watching my videos, children. We'll meet you in next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.